spotlight this so the recording will work correctly. But yeah, welcome everyone to today's Radius Community Call. This is the February 22nd edition. In this community call, we have, like, I almost ran out of slide space for how much stuff we're going to be covering today. So a lot of really exciting announcements, kind of recapping the latest on our roadmap, taking a look at the recent 0.30 release from earlier this month, taking a look at a couple new programs and new things we have in place that we're excited to share, such as the Radius Presentation Pack, Radius Office Hours, some good first issues if you wanted to get started contributing to Radius. And we're going to be taking a look at a few demos. There's some cool stuff that we've been working on with the application graph. So we'll take a look at service-to-service connections. We'll take a quick look at just a really quick update on the dashboard, as well as a look ahead at what we're going to be working on there. And then we have a ton of members of the Radius community and engineering team for an open Q&A. So yeah, it'll be a jam-packed community call. But as always, this call is for you. So we always appreciate questions in the chat. I always have the chat window up here on my other screen, and the Radius team will be happy to help answer questions as we go. So don't be shy and feel free to throw a bunch of questions in there. And other than that, feel free to raise your hand along the way. I can see the members here, so if you have any questions or notice anything, we also encourage questions as well. I think that is a quick intro, and as always, this is recorded. We'll be posting this to our YouTube channel. Yeah, I think that is all the intro. Let's dive right in. Actually, just a quick intro. My name's Aaron. If you haven't met me, I'm a PM on the Radius team. I've been with it for a few years now, so excited to be helping out with today's community call. So if you are interested in first staying up to date with Radius updates, release announcements, community call invites, all of that good stuff, we do have our radapp.io Google group. You should be able to click that in your Teams client right now. And we'll share the link on in Discord and all the other places in our GitHub repo. So make sure to sign up for that. We promise not to spam you too much. We do release announcements, community call invites, and that's about it for right now. But yeah, if you want to stay up to date with the latest, that's the perfect place to sign up. Next up, we have just a quick update on our Radius roadmap. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's aka.ms/radius-roadmap, or again, just click it right inside your Teams call right now. We are continually updating this on a weekly basis, making sure that all the things that we're currently working on, things that are top of mind, things which are on our backlog, or things we're just taking a look at. So please go in, upvote the things or react to the things that you want to see. We use those metrics to help us manage the priority of our backlog. So let us know which things you really want to see, and that'll, again, on a kind of continual basis, we look at those and reshuffle the order. But also feel free to jump in and just in the comments of those issues, let us know like how the design you might want to like have it play out, or like input or requests or ideas you have on this. We really want to make this roadmap a great interactive place to not only just like let us let you know what we're thinking about, but also use it as a place to get feedback, and so you can let us know what we should be working on. So definitely check that out. All right, so the big part of today's community call is a look at the 0.30 release. This was a great release because when I show the full changelog in a sec, you'll see just a ton of amazing kind of stabilization and all the great work that's going into making Radius a rock solid platform. But we also were able to invest in a lot of those new features and experiences that had been requested by a lot of our users. So we've been spending a lot of time on Terraform Recipes, which allows you to take your Terraform template, add it to your Radius environment, and then your applications can leverage that. So we now have submodule support. We actually demoed that in the last community call. You can reference Git module sources directly instead of using the Terraform module gallery. And version ranges are, we confirm that those are officially supported as well. And in this next release, kind of a look ahead, we're also going to be investing in private module support to be able to authenticate against a private registry, as well as we're also now in the implementing being able to use any Terraform provider and being able to configure all of those. So a lot of things that we were able to deliver in 0.30, a lot of things ahead in 0.31, 0.32, and in the future. So keep an eye out. Another one, which I actually realized that we missed in the announcement email, I was going through the changelog again, which is a pretty big highlight, is the Radius application graph, which is how we tell you about how everything, all the things in your application and how they're interconnected and how all those connections are formed. We went in and we now support being able to do service-to-service communication, which we'll demo in a little bit. So before, we could tell you in the graph, like when your front-end container talked to a Redis cache, but we had to do a little bit of work to support like being able to represent when your front end talks to your back end. So we fully support that now, and we'll take a look at that. And finally, we had a addition. So before, when we demoed the dashboard, we said that if you wanted to try it, go build it, clone the repo, build it, and try it out. We've streamlined that, so we have a really great template that you can just kubectl apply to try it out. And kind of looking ahead, we also are going to be streamlining that installation, hopefully in this next release. So anyway, a lot of really cool stuff. If you want to see the full changelog, you can click the link at the top of the slide there. It's also just in our GitHub repo underneath releases. So a lot of really, really great work over the past release and kind of looking ahead. And shout out to all of our new contributors. We had 3 new contributors in this past release. We've had a lot of really great conversations with them in Discord, kind of getting them up to speed on the contribution process. We were able to pick off a lot of these good first issues and even start taking on a lot of the more meaty issues that have kind of been on our backlog. And so Reshma will be joining in a little bit to talk a little bit about our contribution program and specifically some of those good first issues, which if you're interested in contributing, are a great way to get up and running. All right, let's take another look at kind of on the topic of contributing and kind of taking part in that Radius community. Let's talk about the Radius presentation pack. So one of the things that we were hearing from a lot of our MVP community, as well as some of the social media accounts that we were talking to, is they needed a way to go and present Radius, not only just the guidance and what to talk about, but also icons and SVGs and slides and all sorts of stuff. So we've introduced the Radius presentation pack. So I'll switch over and share my window really quick. So if you want to go check out this link, we have where'd my window go? A whole bunch of things. You can download the PowerPoint template, which will walk you through how to give your first Radius presentation, some steps on how to do that. And we also have previous presentations. So if you just want to go watch previous presentations on Radius and kind of how different people have given this presentation, you can click on one of those and check it out. And all of this is checked into our repo, in our docs repo. So if you want to go even contribute to the presentation pack or go check it out, we'll zoom in a little bit here. We also have all of this checked into our docs repo, so you can get all of our logos in whatever format you prefer. You can get all of our resources. So if you're building out diagrams and need our application or our gateway icons, they're all available to download. Cool. So that is a quick look at our presentation pack. Hope that helps with any diagrams or presentations you're giving. Let me go ahead and switch back over to the slides and let it populate there. Cool. Resume. Perfect. So that was just a quick look at the presentation pack. But now I'm going to hand it over to Reshma from our team, who can talk a little bit about a couple new programs we have in place for office hours and good first issues.
Yeah, thanks, Erin. So just wanted to quickly introduce Radius office hours. So we are happy to get started with the Radius office hours to enable the community to get started with Radius. So you can book a 15-minute time with the Radius engineering team to ask questions, to get troubleshooting assistance on the issues that you're facing with getting started with Radius. Or you can also spend this time like sharing specific feedback on the areas of Radius where you have like ideas, opinions, or like things that you wanted to let the Radius team know. You can also use this time to like take help in contributing to Radius if you have like specific issues you need help on, or if you want us to take a look at your PRs, you can utilize this time for that as well. So attached is the link here. So these sessions are basically two 15-minute slots that are happening every Wednesdays between 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time. So please go ahead and like book your session to have that one-on-one informal like discussion with the Radius team. So this is on the office hours. Um, so to encourage more community contributions, we've added more good first issues. We've expanded this list to include like more um, issues and like bugs from various areas within Radius. So if you're interested, grab these items. So these are like good items to pick up as a new contributor. And if you need any assistance understanding these issues, feel free to post them as like questions in the issue comments itself, or if you need like immediate help, you can use Discord as well. So this list actually covers issues, good first issues from like all repositories within Radius, and we plan to more add more like features to this list as well. So if you have any questions related to like any of these issues, feel free to post them in Discord or let us know. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's about the good first issues.
Cool. Thanks, Reshma. And yeah, if you check that out, it's this link encompasses all of the repos from Radius. A couple areas that we found are really great areas to start are the Radius CLI. It's written in Go, and I as like on the PM side have had a lot of fun kind of ramping up. There's some really great documentation as well as a lot of the time we've spent just making sure it's super easy, not just to add additional functionality or fix bugs, but also the unit tests and the tooling around that is really great. And then the dashboard is also now available, and we have a bunch of, we're just kind of getting started on that. So if you are a front-end designer or engineer who is interested in helping us out with any of the dashboard, we have a bunch of really great first issues there as well. All right, so that was good first issues. Now let's switch gears a little bit and get some, take a look at some code. So first, we're going to be taking a look at some service-to-service connections, and then this will actually segue right into a look at the dashboard, which is the best way to kind of view the app graph and visualize the application. So I have a kind of a single demo that will end-to-end walk us through that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll stop sharing this, rearrange some windows, and let me share my screen over here. Okay, hopefully the font size is good on this one. So what we're looking at now is a bicep file, specifically app.bicep, which has a couple things in it. As a refresher, with Radius, you can import Radius using the import statement. So that way you have access to all of the Radius types, such as a container. We also have a couple parameters here for the application and the environment. These are passed in automatically by the RAD CLI. But the important bits here are we have a front-end container. If you've done our tutorial before, you're familiar with our demo image, kind of the Swiss Army knife of kind of understanding what's happening and seeing everything that Radius is doing. And we have a Redis cache, and this is just a normal Redis cache. It's using a Radius recipe, so the developer doesn't have to specify anything about like the underlying infrastructure, Azure, Kubernetes, AWS, any of that. With recipes, developers just have to say, hey, my application needs a Redis. Like as with the Radius application graph, we believe that applications are more than just lists. So here we're saying that our front end has a connection to that Redis cache. Now, what we've added in 0.30 is we've kind of completed our connection scenarios here. So now your front-end container can communicate with your back-end container over HTTP. And that's one of the protocols we're focused on right now. So kind of using our format for a connection here, you can say, I need to use HTTP to talk to backend on port 80. Or you can also parameterize this if you want to use backend name. So we'll do this that way. So that way we don't have to define the name twice. Cool. So here is now our connection. Let's go ahead and deploy this. I'm going to do rad deploy app.bicep. And while this is deploying, I put a simple Nginx container on the back end just so it's kind of a long running container running on port 80. So what's happening now is it's taking the bicep file, breaking it down into the different pieces and getting that all deployed. So we're going to have our front end, our back end, and our Redis cache. The three resources are being deployed. I just have a local K3s cluster running on my machine right now. So all running locally, all using those local dev recipes. And looks like the deployment has been completed. And now if I run rad app graph, this command goes and actually queries. We have a single API for the application graph. So that way you can just do a get against your application, say, hey, what's my application? And we have kind of a ASCII or ESC type kind of text visualization, which will tell you, yep, here's everything inside of the demo application. We have your backend, your front end, the Redis cache. And here are all of the connections. Front end talks to back end. Front end talks to back end and Redis. And so we show both connections that are like outbound as well as inbound to help you kind of understand this. But this text visualization kind of gets you going with this application graph. But what if there was a more visual way to do this? And that's where the dashboard comes in. So kind of segueing into the next piece here. Let me pull up the repo for our dashboard. Some of the feedback we got about the dashboard is wanting to be able to try it out without having to build the entire dashboard project, which I went through the steps to build it a couple weeks ago, and it was a fun hour or two endeavor getting the dependencies just right. Codespace has helped me on this one. It was great. But yeah, we actually have some steps now for Kubernetes installation. So all you have to do is apply, we have a template to get you up and running quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this, which will create a deployment and a service for the dashboard, as well as the service account role and role binding. So that way the dashboard is able to communicate with Radius. And once this is created, all I have to do is just port forward this. Hopefully there's enough time. Yep, so it's started up. And then localhost 3000. So now we have the Radius dashboard, and I can click on that application I just deployed, learn a little bit about it, but more importantly, I can actually see the app graph. So now we can see my front-end container is talking to the backend container and the Redis cache. So again, if you are a front-end UI designer and are interested in helping us with some CSS, we're just getting started on this. We're using the library called React Flow, and we just got our first set of end-to-ends working. So we have a lot planned for dashboard, but we wanted to get it out there as soon as possible. So we have a lot of cool stuff. And Will Tsai on our team is leading this effort. Like, kudos to him and the engineers who have been working on dashboard, because we are also super excited about this as well. Yeah, in the chat, there's a question, is this Backstage? And yeah, we actually are building out the dashboard so that way you can kind of have this white labeled version of Backstage, which is just Radius to kind of get you up and running as a standalone thing. Or in the future, something that we don't have yet, but it's on our roadmap, is the ability to just add the Radius extension to your existing Backstage deployments. So we don't have any docs, and that's not supported quite yet, but that's the direction that we're heading. So you can add it if you're already using it, just add it in. If you're not, we have a great standalone container. And yep, kind of you can also see all of the resources that are inside of this application and drill in to like right now you can drill into even just the raw API response for that. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff in store there. Keep an eye out in this next release or shortly thereafter. We're going to be bundling the dashboard as part of Radinet. So we want to just make it super streamlined. So you do Radinet, deploy your app, and then you just are deep linked straight into the app graph. So let us know in the dashboard repo. We'll just dropped a link to some good first issues as well as other things we're working on. So would love some feedback on this one. Cool. I think that brings us to the end of that particular demo. I'll switch back over to slides. Da, da, da. Unity call. Drag this back over. Cool. So let's jump ahead. So yeah, that actually brings us to the end of the more formal updates and presentation. We wanted to thank everyone. Like this release with all of the external contributions, the feedback, like everything has been helping us really make sure that we're delivering updates and features and everything that is top of mind for our users. As always, please engage with us on Discord. You can click that link and join our Discord server. Start our GitHub repos, join the Google group, and yeah, and with the community calls, we'll be back. 0.31 where is going to be code complete next week, and then we hope to the week after be out with the 0.31 release. So keep an eye on that, and then we'll be back with our March edition of the Radius community call. And if you're a Microsoft MVP, we're going to be at the MVP conference in March as well. So we hope to see you all in person or virtually there as well. So shout out to all the MVPs. Looking forward to that. And with that, we'll actually kind of kick it over to an open Q&A. We'll be available in chat. Put your hand up if you have any questions. But other than that, from the Radius side, any other topics that we want to cover or get feedback on? Cool. Yeah. But yeah, we'll hang around for a little bit in the chat and let us know kind of how you're liking Radius so far. If there's anything we can help with, any questions, always happy to dive. We can dive into anything you'd like. So scroll through the chat, make sure we got every question. Oh, there was a question earlier about our shirts, like the Radius t-shirts available. Not quite yet. We've been chatting with one of our suppliers for this one. And we do, like with Dapper, when Dapper joined the CNCF, they were able to take part in the CNCF swag store. So we are in the process of joining CNCF as a sandbox project. So we're having some kind of background conversations. So soon, we at the MVP Summit, we'll have some stickers to share. But stay tuned on more of the apparel because that is also top of my mind as well. I need to get a couple more so I don't just have the one. Cool. Question in the chat. Has any thought been given to supporting other orchestrators such as Azure Container Apps, etc.? Yeah, great question. There's a link in our roadmap for other serverless container runtimes. Because with Radius, we're actually we started with Kubernetes as our primary container runtime and orchestrator, but we are actually platform independent, so Radius can run anywhere, and you can run your applications anywhere. So with the serverless runtime, that is actually in the design phase right now. So we're having some conversations about what would be the right runtime for that. There's been some conversations about Azure container apps, even on AWS, talking about things like ECS, even at like Azure Container Instances has been part of this conversation. So yeah, I just dropped a link to that in the chat. And yeah, thanks, Jason, you got that as well. Let us know, yeah, what you'd like to see, kind of what are the features, kind of the scenarios that you're running, because like right now, our focus is not just the container runtime, just being able to deploy to container something like container instances or container apps, but like the application gateway and secrets and volumes, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with that. So yeah, please let us know kind of what types of resources you'd like to use, and then we can hopefully start to prioritize some of those. But yeah, great question. This is always top of mind for us as well. Cool. Let me check the chat for anything else that, yeah, I got some good feedback for the presentation pack. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, we had a lot of fun getting that together. And then, yeah, Radius office hours, shout out to that. We've already had a couple signups, and it's been a great way to kind of connect and dig into specific issues, but also Discord is another good option too. Cool. I think that was most of the questions in the chat. Yeah, we'll hang around for a little bit more, but I'll go ahead and wind down on the recording and start getting this posted. But yeah, thanks to everyone. A lot of great questions, a lot of great updates, and thanks all for joining.